What's up, you fucking nerds? We're gonna get a little serious here. So, I've been really struggling to try to find my identity as a content creator slash um, business, I guess. Um, as far as how I fit into this market, and it is really saturated right now, right? Like I am a very small fish in a very large pond. There's a lot of people trying to do what I'm trying to do, and it's really hard to separate yourself from, you know, just some random guy selling Pokemon cards, like one guy to the next. So I'm just not sure. I'm still not sure how I'm going to tackle that. I've been working through some ideas as far as my offerings. Right now I just have whatever I can get. I'm not really trying to buy collections on the secondary market. It's way too competitive, and buying at 85% of market really doesn't make a lot of sense unless you can turn and burn that. And I just don't have that ability right now, so I can't exactly um, buy collections in that way. I had considered, becoming like a bulk buyer, and that could be good, but I still have my own bulk inventory that I sort of have to work through and find the best ways of selling. I have plenty of ideas as far as that's concerned, but again, I'm just not entirely sure what's going to work. It's, you just have to throw a bunch of stuff out there and hope something sticks, I guess. And then content creation has been a struggle. I mean, I'm like a 36-year-old millennial who isn't really into this stuff. I barely even talk to the friends that I have, let alone trying to be some sort of personality on the internet. I'm pretty flat in my affect. I can put on a show, but it drains the absolute ever loving energy out of me. And it feels like I'm forcing myself to kind of do this stuff, and I am, because I know if the only way to build any sort of following or build any sort of um, customer base is the best way to do it, right? I could be a faceless seller on eBay and TCG Player like I have been for years. I could just continue to do that and it'll work, but it won't grow to where I want it to grow. So I have to do more. So I have to get outside of my comfort zone, step outside the box. Well, my box, um, the no talking to people box, and just talk to you guys, anybody who's willing to listen, I guess, or watch. I mean, I've had some videos do pretty well lately. I mean, better than anything I've ever posted. When I get 3,000 views on a video as a creator who has 137 followers, that feels pretty good, right? But then I follow it up with a video that gets 50 views or something. So it's just trying to figure out what works. I also don't want to be just I guess, a rage baiter, if you will. I don't know. There's just a lot of things that people do that I don't want to do. I want to be whatever it is that I am, my own thing. I mean, I know a lot. I know a lot of back end stuff. And if I was working for a bigger company, I could show a whole lot more. But because what I have is so small and there's not a ton to do, it's sort of hard to create content around how small it is. But then again, I probably could. Show people how. I know I can absolutely do like a series on how to become, a TCG player seller, like how to best sell your cards on TCG Player, since I've done that for years and years and years. I think I have on one of my accounts, I have like 22,000 sales, and then I have another account that probably has like another 30 to 40,000. So I've done a lot of sales on TCG Player. I've done a fair bit of sales on eBay, less so on eBay. eBay I was using mostly for like sports cards, just because there's no like TCG Player for sports cards. And people want to see like the condition of the card front and back for absolutely every card they buy, right? There's no like, I mean, there are conditioning standards, but when you buy a near mint card on TCG Player, you're pretty much guaranteed to get a near mint card. If you buy a card that is labeled near mint on eBay, it's not always near mint, right? Like, I've bought plenty of sports cards that were marked near mint that had like what I call like the pen markings on the back, the indents. It just looks like somebody took a ballpoint pen and just like dug into the back of the card for a couple, like a little squiggle or whatever. Plenty of those have shown up marked as near mint, and like obviously that card is not near mint. It's damaged, if anything. So like, yeah, I don't think eBay is up with the standards quite in the same way that TCG Player is. So much easier to sell on TCG Player. eBay, you got to take photos of everything. You don't have to, but you probably should. That's what people are looking for. When I'm on eBay buying, that's what I'm looking at. I want to see your pictures. I want to see that the card you listed is in the condition that it's in. At least with TCG Player, they have the direct program. So when you buy a near mint card, TCG Player is on the hook for it being near mint. And if it's not, they'll replace it, or, easy refund. But I could absolutely make a series about how to be, how to grow as a TCG Player seller. And I've looked at like creating like startup packages for that kind of business. Maybe my business is helping other small creators or businesses become larger creators or businesses. I'm not really sure. I definitely feel like it's easier to impart my knowledge on others than it is to follow my own advice. I think there's some sort of paradox about that, or there's some, not a saying, but some story around that, or a paradox or something, where you can very easily like give out the advice but not be able to follow it yourself. But the TCG Player stuff for me at this point is really easy, so it's not like I'm not going to follow my own advice there. But some other things that I excel at are grading cards. So Pokemon, I probably have like an 85% gem rate on on cards that I think have a shot at a 10. We're close to like 85%. This isn't counting like vintage cards that I've just sent off to get encapsulated. But if I truly think that the card is a 10, especially modern cards, it's like 85%. So I definitely know what I'm doing there. I know what I'm looking for. I know what I'm looking at. I've actually been going through Facebook groups and Facebook Marketplace again to start buying cards, to get them graded, to flip them. That's always a play if you have the skill. I wasted, I don't know, I wouldn't say wasted, but I spent a lot of money developing that skill, right? Like the early days of grading for me, not easy in the least. I made a lot of mistakes. I made a lot of assumptions. I thought there was a lot of like, oh, they'll probably, I don't think they'll see this, or like this couldn't be that big a deal, right? A lot of those kind of thoughts. And I absolutely was wrong. So I've definitely learned my lesson there. And, I know what I'm looking for. I know what I want to send off. Like for me right now, I'm kind of targeting bigger cards. I'm not really trying to get like $10 cards, bulk grade, flip them. I'm trying to get like cards that are, you know, 200, 300, 400, $500 raw, get them graded for $50 or whatever, get them back in 3-4 weeks and sell them for 1,000, right? Like I'm comfortable in my skill enough that I believe that I can, buy a $500 card through the internet of all places, and after examining the cards, get them in, re-examine them, and then get them graded. And again, like if I was willing to pay X amount of dollars for a card on like a Facebook group or whatever, like let's say I bought a card for 500, it comes in, and I determine like it's probably not gonna 10. I can probably just resell it for 500. And yeah, I'm gonna have to ship it, and I might have to pay the goods and services fee, 3% or whatever. So I'm gonna end up losing a little bit. I'll probably lose 5% on looking at that card. But like I would have to do that how many times? How many $500? I'd have to do 20 $500 cards where I whiff before I like lose the entire 500. And the upside is 1,000 when I'm doing it. So it's like, you know, at least 50% of the cards I'm going to get in are going to be gradable, right? Like, even if it's, 1 in 4, like we're talking 25% of the cards, like I'm still crushing. So, that's sort of where my buying's aimed at. I really don't think I'm a rip and shipper. I'm not like a go live and get excited kind of guy. I don't mind throwing up the live and just like, this is what I'm doing. Like, if y'all want to watch and hang out, like, come on down. I'm going to be scouring eBay listings looking for gradable singles or, different flip potential plays. But yeah, I don't think the rip and ship life is really my thing. I have access to sealed product though, and I, I'd like to sell it, but, and I say this like I'm not a rip and shipper thing, but I literally just went out and spent, I don't even know, $600-700 on more sealed product because I'm an idiot. I also have 100 boxes of PRB 02 coming next week for One Piece, so that's gonna be fun. I don't know. It's really like I've come back and I'm trying, like, come back on my own. And I'm really trying to figure out like what am I doing? Like what is my plan? What am I gonna do? Who am I gonna be? And I really think I should just lean into the stuff I'm good at, right? Like, I know I'm gonna have to create content, so that's one of the things I'll like just suck up and do. But as far as like doing the streaming, rip and shipping, that kind of thing, I don't think I'm gonna be doing that very long. It's just not my strength, right? Being live, getting people excited, selling. I'm not a salesman, right? Like I just think like the product, if people want the product, they'll buy it. Like I shouldn't have to worry about convincing somebody like you need this. Like this is something you need in your life. I mean, if anything, I hate FOMO. I think that's just preying on people, trying to get them to buy shit that they don't necessarily need. I mean, to be fair, nobody needs Pokemon cards. Nobody needs Magic, Magic the Gathering. Just drop the remote. No, don't worry. Nobody needs any of these things, right? But they want them. They want them real bad. They want to rip and feel the thrill and the chase and the blah, blah, blah. It's just gambling. It's just gambling. It's just gambling. Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like I'm trying to establish my identity, what I'm going to be in this space. You know, are there guys that grade cards and talk about them? And probably. There's probably people who do that. And, you know, maybe they're better suited for it than I am. You know, I've seen guys that do like the card doctoring. That's not my thing. I don't doctor cards. I get them in, and if they're good, they're good, and if they're not, then oh well. That's not a skill I ever picked up. So I don't know. Maybe I lean into card grading. That, you know, Pokemon grading worked for me before. It'll work for me again. Yeah. I guess that's the end. I don't know. I'm just sort of lost in what I should be doing, or what I think is best. There's a lot of things that can be done, so it's really like what should be done. And I just get stuck in that analysis paralysis of what should be done. But we'll figure it out. I'll either figure it out or I'll quit. I don't know. I don't plan on quitting. I like shiny pieces of cardboard. I like the idea of doing this kind of stuff as, you know, a full-time business, as like my own job, like something like, so that way I don't have to go deal cards at the casino anymore. You know, I'd really like to get out. I thought I was out and I'm back in, but I'd really like to get out for real, have my own thing. And, you know, it's just going to take time. I'm going to take the time to build it. Yeah. Wish me luck.